Hello everyone, it's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist and certified base allergy consultant. I am back today for another session of Wellness Wednesday, and today we are going to talk about one of the most challenging situations we deal with during the holiday time, that's holiday grief. If you are someone that's lost a loved one recently, if you have been grieving for a long time, sometimes the loss is such a huge hit that it's irreparable, it's irreplaceable, and it's also the time when often people can feel extremely empty. There can be a lot of sadness, lot of grief, lots of mixed emotions about celebrating holidays without your loved ones. And often people think that holidays are not the same. Of course they won't be the same, but there are some strategies that we can take to ensure that holidays can still be celebrated with the other members of the family, especially children, where it can be a challenge for them as well, right? So today we talk about how to deal with holiday grief. Especially if you've lost a loved one recently, this can be very challenging for you. So today we talk about simple strategies, how to create a healing space, a safe container for yourself, a safe container for others during this amazing season. So the first step of how to deal with grief is to acknowledge your feelings, right? Often we go on to the autopilot mode if grief has hit you, if you have lost a loved one. I know the year I lost my mom, I just kept working. I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, oh, if I just distract myself with work, I'm not going to feel the feelings, right? But it does not help. Number one thing is you have to acknowledge all the range of emotions that you're feeling, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, whether it's pain, whether it's frustration. Often grief comes with a mixed set of feelings, and acknowledging your feelings is one of the biggest things that you can do. So you can create that space for yourself. You can allow yourself to go through different emotions at the same time, gearing up for the holiday season, right? So number one is always acknowledge your feelings. That is kind of the key, and once you acknowledge, that's when the healing process can start. The second one is to set realistic expectations, right? So when you set realistic expectations for yourself, if you are someone that has lost a loved one, like a partner, and you were the one who was always setting up Christmas for everybody, what you could do is you could give that responsibility to somebody else and take time for yourself. You could ask for support. You could ask for others to take on some of the holiday duties, or you can set realistic expectations that, okay, this is going to be a very different year, and you can choose that, can I handle the responsibility of setting up the entire table, or would it be better for me to allow myself to deal with these emotions and have somebody else take on the responsibility for a while I get on track, right? So setting realistic expectations, you cannot do it the same way you have done it. You are going to be so fatigued emotionally, mentally, and dealing with your emotions that you may not even experience a lot of physical energy. So all the holiday shopping, all the holiday planning, organizing may not work. So allow yourself to slow down a little bit, allow yourself to not have as many responsibilities. And the third one is ask for support. Can somebody else take on your duties? Can you make it simpler? Can you make it a little bit smaller than every year? So these are some simple things that you can do for yourself. Now, the fourth one is to honor your loved one. There are various ways where you can include memories of your loved ones in your celebrations, right? So one of the ways I honored my mom was wearing one of her saris for Diwali. That I always felt she was so close to me when I wore her sari. So something that you could do where you are either spending some time talking about a beautiful memory that you have with the loved one that you've lost. You can create a memory box. You can put some pictures, some photos of your family, some memory notes, or everyone at the table, including the young children, can share a simple memory or one of their fondest memories that is of the individual that may not be with you physically at the moment, right? So you can make a quilt, using the favorite colors or symbols, or like a collage, celebrating the individual. You can light candles, you can buy flowers. I always used to gift my mom gerberas, and she loved it, and I would often get gerberas for myself during holidays, so I know she's somewhere near me, right? Christmas ornaments. So these are some simple strategies where you're not excluding them, you're honoring them, and you're feeling their presence even if they may not be with you physically. So this is one of the simple strategies you can also try. Another thing is to really take care of yourself, be patient with yourself. So often I have seen that people do not understand how to cope with grief, right? There are several stages of grief. There can be denial, there can be anger, there can be frustration, there can be a lot of pain, and there are coping mechanisms that are definitely available. One of the simplest one is to go for counseling, and the counseling can really help you deal with your grief rather than ignoring and not using alcohol to self medicate, not using any other substances to help you deal with the grief, right? So that's one thing. So make sure you're taking good care of yourself. From an Ayurvedic perspective, we believe that the soul is immortal, right? We're leaving the body, but the soul never dies. So your loved one is still watching over you no matter where you are. They're still there somewhere, maybe not physically, so you can see them, but at the same time, they can feel you, they can see you, and they're always going to be a part of you, right? So simple things that make sure you're drinking a lot of water if you are dealing with grief, right? Water tends to not just hydrate you, but water also helps with emotions. Water element pertains to emotions, and often that's one of the reasons why in Ayurveda, in Charak Samhita, we talk about jalam ashvasakaranam, right? So water is the best one to console a human being when they're going through a very difficult time such as grief, right? So making sure you're well hydrated is going to help you with the emotions as well. One of my favorite teas, rather than using things like alcohol to calm you down, alcohol can increase your pitta. It can increase the fiery aspect of you. It can also create a lot of challenges for your liver, because your liver has to metabolize the alcohol, and it can create significant damage to the liver if you are consistent with alcohol, right? So one simple thing that you could do to help deal with your emotions, to help shift the grief, is to drink herbal teas similar to holy basil. Like holy basil is a fantastic tea. Holy basil actually works on the emotional component, emotional body as well, and it can help move grief, shift grief, help you feel, rather than numbing your emotions, help you feel the emotions, but help move through those emotions. Brahmi bacopa is another tree, right? So you could try any of these teas, or teas containing these, that can really help shift the mood, that can really help you with your grief, help you feel the grief, right? And there is no alternative to grieving. Like, you have to go through the process. As somebody that has lost, both parents, holidays are never easy, right? But you learn to cope with them, you learn to deal with it, you learn to move on, and you learn to understand that you will find your loved ones in the smallest things. Maybe a song that plays, maybe their favorite scene in a movie starts, or you'll just feel their presence around you, right? So you can be sad, definitely you can be angry, you can go through all the emotions of grief, you can allow yourself to feel those, but at the same time, understand that you're also making new memories with your children, with your other family members, and allow yourself some joy as well, right? So often there is guilt associated with the grief, right? Oh, how can I be happy, or how can I feel happiness when this has happened? So there is no reason to feel guilty about having a little bit of a good time with the other family members while you're missing somebody, while you're grieving somebody. So give yourself that allowance as well. So this is my little talk on how to deal with grief during the holiday season. I hope you enjoyed it. Our next session will be in January. Next week is Christmas, which is a holiday, so I won't be doing the last live session on Christmas Day. So, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope you find time for yourself. Hope you find time to heal, move through the grief that you're dealing with, and hope that I see everybody super healthy, super happy in the new year. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye for now.